Nobody's here yet. Nobody knows the viewers I seen. Nobody knows but YouTube. Hello, Naomi. How are you doing? Um, hang on. Still adjusting the camera. Is that good? Yeah, that looks pretty good, I think. Yes. Okay, let's see here. And the chat log is going to be live chat. All messages are visible. There we are. I think we have everything set. Yes. Hi again. I guess Percival did this stream yesterday, so really have no idea. Unfortunately, won't be able to stay very long, 1 a.m. here, but I really want to pop in and say hi. Hello, thanks for popping in. Please go and get rest. We don't get much, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't. How am I doing? We're doing okay. A bit of a headache from him fronting for so long last night, but we're okay. It's a good morning, not a bad morning, which makes it a good morning. Let's see. Oops, somebody just popped in there, but we lost them. Darn it! How does this chat thing go? There we go. Starry Girlish, hello. Haven't seen you in a while. Well, at least since the last stream. So. You know, I'm going to try something. Be right back. We were just. I don't really like that it autofocuses there. Maybe it'll stay put. If it's focused on something other than us. We were thinking last time that rather than, or last night maybe, I don't remember really, that if we logged in to YouTube on our tablet, we might be able to use it to follow the chat easier than continually peering forward at the screen. So we're going to try that. Been a bit odd to say the least. Time is an illusion. Yeah. Is it there because we perceive it to be there, or is it there independent of itself? Don't know. Whoops. Hey, what? There we are. Okay. Strange thing. Okay. Let's see now. Let's see if I have. See if we're connected real quick here. Sorry for the slow start. Yeah, not connected. That's what I thought. If no, I need you to forget. Okay, there we go. See if it works. Okay, connected. It's all. And 2, hopefully. I hope this works, because if it does, it'll be much easier. Okay, there we go. And if this matches up. Okay. Excellent. There we are. Okay. So yeah, now we're able to follow on the tablet here. So I should probably turn down the volume so we don't get that echo thing. The feedback loop. Okay, looks like we got a couple more joining us. Hello, welcome. We're just getting stuff set up, getting my tablet set up so I can follow along with the chat without having to lean forward and constantly tap the screen, which is disconcerting. Oh yes, sorry. Yes, things over here have not been the best, but we will live. And other things, other news, how are things with you all? The same, basically. It's life is life. It's just the day to day. We're still looking for a therapist and yeah, just trying to deal with the day to day, as well as when the trauma comes out. So, which is not fun. Akshaya Vadavel. Hello, welcome. Don't think that we've seen you on the stream before. Welcome in. We're just kind of getting started, so feel free to ask any questions that you have. Our streams are pretty informal and laid back, so just ask away. Yeah, it's SSDD, same shit, different day. We had a nasty flashback hit us about a week and a half ago, and we've been working through that. That's better. However, yeah, I'll leave them on unless the glare gets really bad. So we've been working through that this week, doing a lot of DBT and distress tolerance and using the tools, because that's basically all that you can do. It's irritating, but that's one of the irritating things about TID is, other than talk therapy and the various medications to control the symptoms, there's no real treatment. It's just it's therapy and learning to live with the trauma. It's learning to live with it. Not fun, but you got to do it. Well, you don't have to, but if you want to get anything out of your life, I suppose. So, hello, roses. Just see you pop up there. Yeah, now I'm reading you on the other screen. Good call. Walks are always good. Yeah, it's all right. We're just starting it up because, as you said, people might have missed it last night. So, for those that weren't, it's on last night. Percival he was recording the vocal track, and we set it up so that he could live stream that. And apparently, he went on afterwards to host a bit of a stream, I guess. So, but we decided to go ahead and do it today anyway. Basically, at Rose's urging, because she was like, "Well, this is when you advertise it." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right." So and we don't really have anything else to do except more DBT, and frankly, we hurt. So yeah, we'll take the chance to sit down for a while. At least you're getting tools. I don't get any. Wow, that just hit hard, Naomi. A lot of them are just simple. The whole mindfulness thing, it's learning to distill the mind process and just go with it and not succumb to the blame and the worry cycle. It's tough, but try to take those few moments, breathe, make sure you're what self-care you can do. Stay hydrated, find those little moments of peace, create some, just take a few minutes out of your day to try to reconnect with yourself. We're sorry that you don't have more tools at your disposal. Wish we could help. There has to be some kind of local services, maybe. We don't know. We've never actually been overseas, so we have no idea how it works there. Want to help, can't. So I do hope that it works out better. Story Girl is as well as the overanalyzing of what you're remembering. That's what I do, and I'm learning not to do that. Yes, that was a pitfall for us early on, particularly with Data, uh, when he was just a, there has to be some proof that this actually happened. I need empirical evidence, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, we get you, but he kind of went a little bit overboard. Okay, a lot overboard. But unfortunately, he found more than enough than what he was looking for. So, yay. Uh-huh. You know, but yeah, just the letting go of the, well, it's also difficult because we're hyped up all the time with the stress response cycle. Yay, kind of, yay, yeah, yeah. You understand, but it's our stress cycle is unresolved continually, so we're constantly going the threat here, threat there, analyze this, analyze that, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting. Naomi says it's okay. I do have a therapist and go weekly, but no tools. So traumaversary was hard. Yeah, well, this is one of the reasons that we try to like with the our latest learning to live again, the counterpart to learning to love again. We gave the the basic knowledge of the tools that they gave us, and yeah, we're going to agree with you. They're few. There's not a whole hell of a lot out there. So but we try to we're just sharing what we were taught in the DVD and the CBT. There's some forms of therapy that we or our therapist chose not to pursue with us. Some techniques like EMDR, where they do the eye movements as you're remembering. Our therapist was like, "No, we're not going to do that because that will just send you right off into flashback land." And we were like, "Thank you, no." So, yeah, at least you do have the therapist. But so many of the tools are just simple things. Uh, so yeah, check out that video. I'm sure you've probably already watched it, but we tried to give some practical tips on things to do. So at least there's that. Yeah, traumaversaries just suck. Don't worry about spelling Starry Girl. uh, it's all good. It's Saturday. We don't have to spell properly today. See, this is where it'd be nice to have a basic coping toolkit master list with resources such as various books like Van der Kolk, etc. Agreed. Somebody needs to put together a manual. I wonder who we were discussing that with. Yeah, watched each and every one of your videos. Thank you. I mean, we didn't mean it in that way, just that there was pertinent information out there that might help you. We know our programming is a grab bag. I'm sure plenty of people have went, what is going on here? So yeah, at least there's that. Coping toolkit master list. Yeah, there has to be a way to put that together. Maybe a PDF or something. Now you've got data postulating. Okay, how do I stop this from auto-focusing? Oh, hey, I didn't realize. More filters. Okay. No, let's go away, filters. I just want to go back to the screen. Yeah, there we go. Grab bag of useful information and fun stuff. Thank you, Starry. It's just what we are. We're kind of just letting it guide itself, as it were. If any of you have any suggestions as to content or things you want to see covered or anything, just hit us up in the comments at any point in time or on the community page or on Instagram. Don't use Twitter or Facebook. Those are just for announcements. Let's see. Bug Bean, hello. Yay, made it this time. How are you guys doing? Well, not. Yeah, we're doing good. Uh, Changes. Still looking for a new therapist. We just finally got the list of resources so that we can begin calling on that and see who takes our insurance. Um, and dealing with a nasty flashback that we had about 2 weeks ago. Um, Trying to stay the course, using our tools, stay busy, which is basically taking the form of cleaning up, doing the never-ending yard work, and Arielana has wanted the porch cleaned up and fixed so that she can put plants out there and everything. So we've been doing all the heavy labor associated with that as a let's just try to keep the trauma at bay. It works to a point, but then there's always the point when the body is exhausted and you're like, I can't do anymore. And then, of course, you're left with the trauma to deal with. So it's distract. Um, let's see here. Let me catch up. Hello, Viola. Good to see you. The Electric Castle. Okay, now we know. Chris and chat. Hope you all are doing. We're good. We've been worse. We've been better. It's a better than middle of the road kind of day, if you put it on a scale. Hello, Grace to Grow. Good to see you. Had to tweak your name due to an online scam. Yeah, we got, I don't know if it was hacked or what, but our Instagram page started, Instagram started recommending all of these people and adding them to our follow, the people that we follow. And we're like, what is going on here? And we just started getting inundated. And finally, we changed our password on it, which seemed to take care of the problem. But we still have no idea how the hell that happened. It wasn't posting for us or anything. It was just adding all of these followers and really random. But so password change takes care of it. So we feel you, Grace to Grow. Let's see. Starry Girl, please note that sort of thing only works for so long. Do it if you must, but from what I know, dealing with it is the better route. Yeah, we know, but we have to work through our trauma in bites, because the initial flashback is the worst when re-experiencing is occurring, and it sticks with you. And this one was really clear, full. I mean, they're all clear, but some of them are extra vibrant and not fluffy soft. If you get where we're going, and this one was a doozy. So we do have to work through it and deal with the aspects of it. But if we try to take it all in one bite, we know where that goes, and it goes straight to us going down the rabbit hole. And so we've learned that we have to manage it and deal with it in our own way. We're still learning to balance that, but like with everything with DID, it's a work in progress. So yeah, we hear you though. We hear you. We're aware. Thank you, Star Girl. Hello, Castaway System. Have not seen you in a good long while. It's good to see you again. Not sure how long we'll stay, but hi. Star Girl, that makes sense. We're the same way. It always hits you like a ton of bricks. Yeah. Yeah. Nasty. And then, of course, you've got the lingering effects for days afterwards, and the images, or rather that snippet, that memory grain that you keep reliving. And it's not fun, and trying to stay here now and not be then and there is very challenging. So, yeah. Naomi says, sorry, but I'm going to go. Hope you feel better real soon. Not a question of feeling better, just dealing with what life throws at us. Naomi, please take care. Get some rest, and like we said, do check in. We appreciate knowing that you're still out there. And we support you. You're not alone. You're not alone. Okay, just remember that. All right, be safe, please. Okay, it's good to see you. So go get rest. Shoo. Yes, we're a bit of a mother hen. That's Rosemary's influence in the background, not the chicken, but the shoe. Alrighty, so let's see here. We have about 6 of us. It looks like cool. Nice small group. It's funny. We always seem to get more. No matter when we try to time these, we always seem to get more people watching after than we do initially. So maybe that's how come we have such a nice cozy feel to our live streams, because there's not enough people to uh, I don't know, to make problems. We've never had anybody really make problems on the live streams. Just that there was once when some trolls were spouting anti-Semitic stuff in German, I guess, but Rosa stomped on that and took care of it. 1, 2, 3. So I haven't had anybody else. Everybody minds their manners and follows the rules. Everybody here is pretty much familiar with how it works, so I won't go over it again. If more new folks pop in. There's a new viewer, Crazy Eyed Me, a young gentleman who posted recently, and we were kind of hoping that he would stop in today because we know that he had some questions and whatnot. So maybe he/they will show. Hope so. Everyone's welcome. So, guess while we're waiting for questions or you guys to talk or whatnot. Okay, yeah, here we go. Takes a sec for it to show up over here. Okay, Starry Girl says, yeah, hey May, ask something I won't go into detail, but I wonder what input I could get. Yeah, ask away. Just keep in mind, we're not professionals, just one up system who is dealing with the same stuff. But yeah, we'll gladly pontificate on anything. Joking, but no, please, go ahead, Starry Girls. And for everybody, feel free to ask anything. If we're not comfortable with answering something, we'll let you know. So far, we haven't found anything that we're not comfortable talking about. So surprise us. While we're waiting on that, those of you who joined in last night, Percival we're working on the next little stories, which will be their Little Red Caboose, which is a good story about one of those. It's one of those underdog stories, about familiar pattern with the content of the stories here. So look for that within the next couple weeks. It takes us a while sometimes to glue them together. Okay, I saw the question pop up here. So back to Starry Girl. She says I've been getting memories from the others inside, and it's a whirlwind for me. How can I keep stable as well as the system members? We're thinking, we get it. Boy, do we get it. And this is actually something that we're learning now. It's almost. We think the problem lies is because everybody's been inside for so long, and everyone has their own story, and now their own bit of the trauma and their own personality and their own piece of the puzzle that they desperately want to express. It's like the genie in the bottle. Once you rub that lamp, or once you pull that cork out, everything that's inside is going to take that opportunity to go all over the place, in everywhere in your life, and the altars too. After being no audio anymore, please fix audio. Anybody else not hearing? Can I get a confirmation there? Okay. Yeah, it must be on your side, Michael, because the others can hear me and I don't have any mute or anything. So double check your audio. I'm not muted, Michael, but thank you. And actually, I'm on my phone, so I can't press Alt and F4. And also, yeah, that's just a troll thing. So you're being a dick. Do me a favor, Roses, and would you dispose of Mr. Michael Miser there because Alt F4 is that's an old one. We're not that dumb. Good try though. Yes, thank you. Just go ahead and yeah, just remove. Okay, let me just backtrack real quick. Thank you. Literally, just as I'm talking, as we're talking about our streams being fairly tame, has to come along. Uh, oh well, somebody amusing themselves on a Saturday. Have fun, but just not here. Happy ban. So I guess we'll go over the rules again. You have the right to your opinion. You have the right to state your opinion. You do not have the right to abuse others with it. You do not have the right to troll or to stir up shit. If you disagree with any of these things, go elsewhere. If you start shit, I'm going to ban you, or Roses will ban you, or whoever is fronting will ban you. We will all ban you, and we won't feel one little bit of concern over it. Okay, so go play now. Okay, thanks. Bye. So, yes, let me backtrack here from Mr. We were dealing with Bugbean. We will get to you there. I just see it. Don't want to let you overlook. Memories from the others inside. It's a world when how can you keep as stable as well as the system members? It comes down to scheduling. Everybody's trying to get their piece of the story out and take that opportunity because they've been in silence for so long. And now there's the realization you've made the realization your system, you're aware of each other, and so but there's only one body and there's only so much time. Literally, it's when you get DID you become acutely aware of every second of the day because there's so many of you wanting to do so many different things. We're learning to schedule now. So, literally, lay out a list of who wants to do what and our other responsibilities, and then fit that free time and try to portion it out fairly. We'll let you know what the effects of that are because we're just starting to do it. So, really, that's the main advice that we can throw your way there, Starry Girl. And sorry for the interruption from the troll. So, hope that helps. Let's see, catching back up here. Bugbean wants to know, have a question. Do we experience dissociative seizures? We're not sure exactly what you mean by that. We have almost continual and very intense sleep paralysis, which could well be considered a type of seizure. If you're meaning, do we like have a seizure like a grand mal or a petite mal or um, uh, oh, bother, can't think of the flashing lights. Anyway, and no, we don't have that type of a seizure, but there are physical effects. Yeah, actually, come to think of it, when John is fronting, or when we're under extreme duress, and the two halves of the brain are starting to disconnect, we will stutter, really, really bad. And we did. Uh, John did. Christopher D did because it's that alterception thing. Anyway, but we studied terribly then. And we found that yes, when we are under duress, and John particularly has wormed his way to the front because he's not aware of us, that we do get that. We can tell when he's close to the front because that will start to leak through, and to a lesser extent, the other littles. So I guess yeah, you could classify that as a dissociative seizure. Kind of all over the place with that answer for you, Bugbean, but hopefully that gets you kind of what you were after. We'll look up more information on them, or you can clarify for us and we'll let you know. Um, so let's see here. Audio here, gosh, troll much. I can hear you fine, Yes, yes, yes. Grace to Grow, missed the story of what happened with our therapist. Well, why do we need to find a new one? Um, our therapist felt that that we had reached the limit of what she could do for us, and that it was time for us to move on to somebody more able to give us the help that we need. It kind of hit us just all of a sudden, but that's kind of, she's the type. One of the reasons we valued her was for her bluntness and to the pointness, because that's how we prefer it. Just give it to us straight up, please. Don't blow smoke, don't anything like that. And yeah, we reacted badly to the news, but because there were so many of us reacting, and of course we'd forged the relationship. But it's we've been reflecting on it since then, and it's like, no, it's not that we're going to try to manage without therapy. We're not, but it's kind of an acid test for us right now, particularly with this flashback that we've been experiencing and working over and through. Of it's like, okay, big boy pants, big boy and girl pants. Okay, we've got the tools, we've got the knowledge. We're now cognizant of what our reactions are. We're growing cognizant of them and how to correct them, how to retrain those, or at least to divert momentarily those thought pathways. But but that's what it comes down to. We have to learn to live with it. Therapy or no therapy, we have to learn to live with it and manage our symptoms. So we're working very hard and very diligently at doing that. And actually, on the agenda for this next week is calling some of these resources and going through do you take X insurance, our provider? And if so, can we schedule an appointment, things like that. So it's moving on and forwards, but stepping back a little bit, because of course we'll have to retread ground in order to fill in the next therapist if we can find one. So just that next step up. So that's basically what happened. And we respect her for that. A great many of us disagreed with her quite strenuously. Mimi was not graceful about it at all. Even Data was as upset as he ever gets. But we respect her, and we respect her professional opinion. And she's done a lot for us, and as she was trying to get us to see all the progress that we had made, and of course we're just reacting rather than thinking. But her points are valid, and it was inevitable after all. So anyway, before we go on more about that, we're seeing comments popping back up here. So let's see here. Okay, so Grace DeGraw, that's the story of that. Here, how did the Joe Benny? Welcome. Don't think we've seen you around. Welcome to the stream. How did I introduce our diagnosis to our children? It pretty bluntly. I mean, they were kind of involved in it. It was just basically one of these. Okay, here's why all the weird shit's been going on with Dad, and that it was a struggle. It was difficult on us. It was difficult on them. That's really all that we're comfortable saying at this point, because it was a very complicated situation. They dealt with it pretty well, all things considering. Hang on for just a second, folks. I think I might have to pause the stream, if I can pause the stream.
I just need my phone.
Oh, okay. Your hoo-ha?
My phone.
Oh, okay, go ahead. You're out of camera, so. On the above, the thing, there should be some there. No. Okay, wait, here, in the right above the pens there, in that little thing there, I think there's some electrical tape in the shelf. Yes, or okay, that too, whichever. Sorry, wife, Splinter. So, Let's see, we're back now. If we were away. I'm still not sure how these things work. Okay, so let's see here. We were going back. Diagnosis to our children. Um, yeah, it's we'll we'll likely do an episode covering that later on, but there's still more that we need to learn about it, and there's just things that we still need to process. So there's that. Thank you. It's okay. Can't control the trolls that much. Yeah, I can control the trolls that much. I have a nice friend with a big band hammer. But yeah, we get it. Thank you. Let's see. Talking back and forth. Yes, Roses is saying, do you keep a journal? Sounds basic, but it can be incredibly useful for keeping yourself centered in your reality in order. Yeah. And actually journaling, that's how Percival and Nigel came out. So yeah, unintended and side benefits. All right, so let's see here. Talking back and forth, which is good. I always love how you guys, we always love how you guys spread information. Okay, cool. Okay, excellent. Thanks for passing along that info. Rosa, they're a wonderful system full of great information, and they've helped us numerous times, so they know this stuff. But yeah, there were several missteps that we made in dealing with our diagnosis with our children. See, there's things that I could say, but it's like we said, it was and is a complex situation. Yeah, sorry. Somebody ask me another question, or ask another question, please, so that we can change the subject. Yeah. Okay, so hides don't hide. You earn the credit, Rose. Yes, yes, they do. Yes, they do. For that alone, we're glad that we started the channel. So, oh, and let's see. The Majesty, if you're watching, we did get the name of your little, and we'll have that up on the sheep wall. We're definitely going to have to expand the safe space, because we're getting so many sheep, which is a good thing. We're glad. Everybody seems to love that. So, yay! Okay, did you know you look really nice and red? Thank you. Actually, there's very few colors that don't work for us. There are red can be tricky because there's certain shades, because we have this olive Mediterranean complexion naturally. People look at us and go, "Oh, you must spend so many hours in the tanning booth." It's like, no, this is just how we are. Happens naturally. So yeah, certain shades of red, particularly more towards the orange spectrum, just no. Yellow, orange, and those certain shades of red, just can't wear them. Cannot wear them. So yeah, but thank you. Jewel tone colors, and we discovered that first we were trying to, when we were first diagnosed, we were trying to figure out a way to show people on the outside who was up front. And first we were thinking like little pins or something. Then it hit us, well, why don't we just use colors of shirts? Because as it turns out, we kind of favored that one direction or the other anyway. So, for example, Data and Chris, me, wear black most of the time. Plus, other reasons for that. Bootstraps actually wears red. No, I'm not Boots. He's taken a siesta because he's been busting his butt for the past week or more. But yeah, it was one of the. I just didn't feel like wearing black today. Rosemary, of course, has her outfit. Percival has his outfit. So Mimi has chosen purple. So normally, if you were seeing us wearing red, you might think bootstraps, but just today we felt like wearing something else. Blue, I don't really think that we have anybody assigned to blue yet. Food for thought. It's not an official thing. Just kind of a pattern that we noticed. I guess we're all distinct enough from each other that you guys or most, our family and whatnot are to the point where they can recognize who's up front. So convoluted answer to a compliment. Sorry. So at least you're not ghost-like. Yeah. Our first wife, she was so pale. She was virtually, actually, one of her nicknames in high school was Milky White and Swiss Miss. So she was just terribly pale. Our daughter is that pale as well. But no, for us, we've got this lovely natural tan. Kind of miss our blonde hair, but it's kind of miss our hair. But getting older, what can you do? Southwestern glow, yeah, or South glow, or East glow, or any other place that you're forced to, be in the sun 90% of the time. Ghost-like. No. So, what do you want to know, people? Or shall we just blather on more about other things? We have no idea what Percival was talking about last week or last night. It's gone. It just drains out. So, I live in the north. It's normally cold. Snow. Yeah, snow's nice. Except when you have to shovel it. Or when it's cold, yeah, I know, we're being silly. But there's something to be said for that that snowfall when it gets so cold and it gets feathery, and particularly on pine trees, it'll pile up on each individual needle, and that effect is just so beautiful. It's so cold, but natural beauty everywhere. But yeah, the north is nice. North is nice. As opposed to the seventh circle of hell that most of the United States is becoming now. No, there's no such thing as global warming. Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's like you're in a snow globe. Yeah, exactly. Everything feels new, like, oh, nobody's been there before, Joe Benny, in retrospect, how did your DID negatively or positively impact your school years? Well, we didn't know we were a system to begin with. We grew up together, so we just thought that we were just one person with a very overactive conscience or inner voice. We didn't voices. We didn't know that it wasn't normal to have more than one person's voice and thoughts in our head at the same time and have arguments with them and conversations and debates and everything else. We didn't know. We thought that was a normal thing. So it wasn't as though we were deliberately splintered. We kind of, oh, that's a bad word. We learned to work together as it was, but negatively or positively impact your school years. No doubt it made things more difficult. We've actually been looking over our elementary school records from back then, and all of our teachers all basically had the same thing. Extremely imaginative, bright, blah, 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 but daydreams, does not, pay attention, blah, 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 but it was a daydreamer or things like that. And we're going now, we weren't daydreaming, we were dissociating. But that would have been Christopher D. So there's no doubt that the trauma and the DID probably negatively affected it, um, because we were mercilessly bullied and picked on, throughout elementary, well into junior high, and actually into the first year of high school, when fortunately a very good friend, or was a good friend at the time, a popular kid, uh, basically took mercy on us and took us under his wing for whatever reasons, and was a very good friend for us, and helped us to fit in a little bit better, or maybe not be so bullied, gave us some more self confidence. Now we know that it was because we were a walking target. We had a walked him. I am a victim. I am traumatized. Kick me sign all over our back, and that definitely affected our schoolwork. We would always ace our exams and our tests, but doing homework, we either saw it as a pointless chore, or we just simply forgot that we had it. And there would be days when we would be on point in class, and others when we would just be daydreaming. It turns out now we're thinking that we were switching in and out, because at this point in time, fifth, sixth grade into the beginning of junior high was when we were undergoing a lot of the worst of our trauma, worst, quote unquote. So yeah, we were disassociating heavily. We don't remember junior high at all. Very few memories of that, and just brief flashes. So there's an entire chunk of almost 3 years just missing completely from our life, and that was right at the time when Christopher D split into Jack, and then John, and then eventually Mimi. So yeah, it affected the trauma, and DID no doubt affected our schoolwork and our education. I hope that answers the question. So positively impact. Let's cover that, because we kind of went over the negative. Positively impact would be the data and Chris Reed took to knowledge in books like a duck to water. So data being virtually pure intellect, as it were. That's the brainy stuff. Was like a kid in a candy store, which was why we always would ace the test. But the actual practical, the homework, it would drive our teachers crazy. If he would just apply himself, it's like, which one of us? Turns out that we were pinch hitting and rotating in without knowing it, and this actually caused problems for us later on in the work world, because it would turn out that we would be doing the same thing until we would get okay, well, we need to speak with you in the office, and then we'd find out, oh, you've been missing time, and you're belligerent with your coach. It's like, what? And so now we're going, oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense now. Long answer, short question. That's what we're good at. Hope that helps some, Joe Benny. Starry Girlish, man, I wish I could remember most of my/our school years. All I can say is certain medications are hell. Yeah, we didn't get on meds until we were just before we were diagnosed, and that was just the lamotrigine. So it's only within the past 5 years that we had meds to help manage the condition. So, yeah, uh, some of them are. Our nurse practitioner tried to put us on, I think it was Prozocin for the sleep paralysis and the nightmares and the night terrors, and it made them 10 times worse. We took it for 3 days and stopped because it made things 10 times worse, and we were like, no, thank you very much. So yeah, medications can be nasty, and we tend to work off the idea of less is more. Start low and work your way up if necessary. Don't start with an ungodly 200 milligrams when 50 would do, to see how you react to the chemicals. And you have to be very proactive in your healthcare, particularly as a system, not only your mental health care, but your physical health care with your doctors. Because if you don't advocate for yourself, you will get lost in the cracks or with people that just don't understand what's going on, and it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. So self-advocate for yourself. If you think that med or something isn't doing you any damn good, then tell your nurse practitioner, look, I don't think this is working. What are our alternatives, or can we decrease this down and wean off of it? Because you don't want to just stop meds cold turkey. Take them. Talk with your be responsible about this. Don't screw with your meds, but by the same token, be proactive in talking with your healthcare professionals about how they're affecting you and options, because there's always another option or always another pill that can be tried. That's all we're going to say about that. So yeah, but mood, we get you. Okay, so here it's the opposite. I wished I couldn't remember as much from school year as some of our parts do. Elementary school, we remember quite a bit of our bullying then. It wasn't later on until we just, but yeah. Let's see. This answer is an entire mood. Rosie is very intelligent but lacks motivation and direction. Yeah, exactly. Ours made the dissociation worse, and we didn't know about any of that at the time. Yeah. If I remember right, we were put on the meds at 9. Wow. Now that sounds terrifying saying it here. Yeah, no shit. Sorry, but no shit. That would terrify us. Wow. 9. I mean, without knowing more particulars, which we're not asking for, that's staggering. We're sorry. We're sorry for your pain and for the events that caused this to happen in your life, and in any of our lives. But wow, it's we have wondered if things had been different, if we had been kids now, would we have gotten the help that we needed? Would anybody have noticed? Would anything have been different? Because when we went to school during the 70s, the early 70s, through the early 80s, and it didn't exist. CPS was, as they are still, overburdened, overworked, and underpaid, and understaffed chronically. But how many kids slip through the cracks? Sad food for thought. Sorry. Yeah, things that we think about a lot. So yeah, 9. But we hope that your doctors, therapists, maybe whoever it was, had your best interests at heart and were looking to help you in the best that they knew how. And if not, then they shouldn't have been practicing medicine. Anyway, yeah, it was just ADHD then. Oh, Ritalin. Well, I don't know if they might have stopped using that by the time that you were medicated. But yeah, in our age, it was Ritalin. Then that was the miracle drug. That was every kid's was a form of it actually. Yeah. Yeah, very common, because that was the miracle cure for your child. Is he oppositional, defiant? Yeah, there's a good word. He's oppositional, defiant, unward focused. What is it? It wasn't for us, but we remember all the catchphrases. Although they probably could have applied to us had we actually been given the opportunity of psychiatric care at that point. Thank you very much, Igdonna, and controlling everything about us, basically. Sorry. We have some anger issues with certain family members. Smile, everyone. Smiles. Yeah, now you're seeing our cynical side. So, sorry. We try not to be bitter, but it's tough. It's like forgive us. It's like that whole, you have to forgive your abusers in order to move on and heal. Bullshit. I ain't gonna forgive them. Screw that. Uh, I got a right to my anger. I got a right to my vengeful thoughts. I have a right to turn my back if I ever see this person again, or I have the right to ignore them at a family function. I have a right to look at them as though they were a piece of crap because that's exactly what they are. Screw that. Don't need to, forgive my abuser. To hell with that. That's just another form of victimization. It's not bad enough that they did that to us the first time. We have to live with the continual after effects of it, and then we're supposed to forgive them up on top of that so that we can move on and be the better person? No. No. Sorry. Maybe I'm just not that evolved. We're just not that evolved. But thank you very much. We're going to keep our anger and sit with it for a while because we're entitled. Steps off of soapbox. Personal rant. Okay, so it's okay. I guess it's Starry Girl saying, "Okay, I get that." No, in the other direction, I swear, Dad just wanted to throw whatever he could to fix things. More than likely. More than likely. I'm not going to. We can't question his motivations or put ourselves in his head, but that there, yeah, that sentence speaks volumes, and you're probably right. You know the truth. You know what's real. Damn, Starry Girl. Hang tight. Maldwin, hello. Yay, I managed to catch another live stream. Hope everyone is well. Doing well enough. Could complain. Who'd listen? Well, you would, obviously, but we try not to be a never-ending source of depression and drama. Okay, so let's see. Electric Castle system. Sometimes it's hard not to be bitter. Sometimes you have to be bitter to get back on the right track. Yeah, and in a way, yeah, you're right. It's healthy because, I don't know about you guys, but we were trained to be a victim. Don't fight back. Don't think about fighting back. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, mommy. Yes, daddy. Whatever, not that. There was a literal script that we were required to learn and follow. Yeah, but don't think, don't fight. You don't have feelings. You're a thing. Things don't have feelings. So, fuck them. I got my feelings, and I'm entitled to be bitter. So yeah, it's you have to come to terms with that as well. Not sure that had a point, but I think we hit a nerve. All right, I'm seeing chat things pop up all over the place here, so they're probably like, "Stop! You're triggering me." Sorry, we're being silly. Let's see here. Yet the truth is something I battle every day. Amen. Mood. But trauma doesn't lie. Trauma doesn't lie. Exactly. Ouch. Yeah. Is there any media representations at all that ring true about DID? Joe Benny, you're asking some good questions. We're thinking. Because that we found not a whole hell of a lot. Ironically, as dated as it is, and the Three Faces of Eve offers a fairly good look at what dissociative amnesia looks like. Obviously, it's heavily sensationalized. But of all of the things that we've seen out there, that one has struck us as being at least semi-accurate. Unfortunately, there's just not a lot of positive media representations out there because it's a heavily stigmatized disorder. It's also heavily misunderstood because, let's face it, it's weird. Fucking weird, man. It's so far out there. That's why it's like when she was like, you have dissociative identity disorder. We're like, okay, what? You know, she's like, multiple personality. And we're like, okay, just stop. You know, it's fantastical, and people want to know about the fantastical. It's exciting and new, and so the media grabs it and doesn't bother to do their homework, and it just leads into a self-perpetuating cycle. I'm sure that there's some of our viewers might definitely have more suggestions than we do. We keep our noses pretty close to the ground, as it were, because just from time constraints and everything, we don't have the opportunity to watch a lot of things like that and kind of explore. But from what we've seen, not a lot. Need better representation. But again, we don't watch everything, and we're definitely not the be all end all of that. So maybe some of the others here might have some ideas. Sorry. It's the best answer we can give you. Let's see. Bitter pill to swallow sometimes. Okay, watch. I feel familiar. I liked Mr. Robot and Elliot when it comes to DID in media. The reveal made it so that while watching, the whole thing started to make sense. Vaguely remember hearing about Mr. Robot. Thought it was like a hacker sci-fi show thing, so we never really gave it much thought. Elliot, not familiar with that either. We might have to check those out. Fascinating, more like a living nightmare some days. Yeah, absolutely. We're trapped in a hell from which we can't escape. Neurotypicals have no idea. None. What it's like to be a system. But by the same token, we don't have any idea what it's like to be neurotypical. We've often tried to imagine what it would be like to be silent, to not, for it to stop, for it to be quiet. And we can't even wrap our brains around that. So I'm sure it's equally as difficult for them to imagine more than one person being up here. But it's human beings are drawn to the sensational. We like bright, shiny objects. And the next new thing, unfortunately, this is leading us into a societal collapse. Sorry, we're not going to get into that, because that leads to all kinds of icky, sticky, controversial places, and that's not what we do here. We kind of follow our grandmother's rules. We don't talk about religion, sex, or politics at the dinner table, so it makes for happier surroundings. Okay, so Maldwin is saying Elliot was the character. I wasn't clear. My apologies. That's okay. No biggie. So the Starry Girl, you don't have to apologize. This is a safe environment. Rant away. If anyone oversteps boundaries, we'll tell you. It's okay. We're not going to drop the hammer on you right off the bat, but we'll gently nudge. Don't worry. Rant away. If there's going to be any other people who can actually understand what the hell we're going through, it's going to be each other. Not alone. Seems simple. So Maldwin, might actually have to give Mr. Robot a passing glance now. So we'll check that out. Thanks for that. Let's see. Oh, Clover snuck in when I wasn't watching. Hello, Clover. Good to see you. Glad you were able to make it. Let's see here. Okay, when you said the script thing, that's what felt familiar. Oh. Yeah. That. Do we really want to go there? Really want to go there? It is. We all know the statistics that there are children being abused right now. Right now, there's a child being sexually abused and physically abused and emotionally abused. And there are people out there who will do the most vile things imaginable, and things that I guarantee you've never imagined. It is possible to push the human body past the point of where pleasure becomes pain and pain becomes pleasure. And the child pornography and the child sex trafficking market it's a business to these people, to the people who run it. It is a business. And that is what it's about. And they have made it as cold and callous and cruelly efficient in ways that are staggering. And one of them was the script, which was used at these parties where people would go to pay to abuse children in every way possible. And it was used to figure out, are you my mommy? Are you my daddy? This question was addressed to either sex. Am I a good boy / girl? Or it was, are you my mommy? Are you my daddy? Am I your good boy, your good girl? Am I your bad boy, your bad girl? Am I your precious one? That meant, is it okay? Are you going to hit me? Precious ones, of which we were kids that could not be beaten about the face because we had to go back to where we came from. We were there on loan, as it were. So anything that would show was forbidden. And it goes about 3 or 4 more levels down. And we'll spare you those because by now you've gotten the full picture. We literally flow charted it out, and it is a coldly efficient way to, within the course of one paragraph of questions and answers, to decide who your abuser will be, what the role is that they want you to play, whether or not they are allowed to physically beat you, because obviously they're hurting you in other ways, and whether or not you were disposable. And we mean disposable in exactly the way that you think that we mean. So, I'm going to get something to drink real quick. I'll be right back. This is it here. Page 1. Page 2. Are you my mommy, daddy? Am I your precious one? Which says, is it okay for you to hit me or not? Am I a good boy or a good girl? What role am I going to play in my rape? Yes or no? Am I a very good boy? It flow charts right out from there, and it goes. Then we get to, would you like to play with me? Yeah. So, I'm leaving out the last steps deliberately, but yeah. Our journal. So that's all that we're gonna. I hope that we didn't trigger you guys out. I'm sorry if we did, but yeah. Yeah, it's okay. I'm sorry. Sorry, girl. Oh yeah, no. Okay, I'm catching up now. No. Oh no. No, sorry. You're fine. You're fine. Okay, relax. No, you didn't mess up. We went into that to let you know you're not alone. You're not alone. And yeah, we had our script for home too. This was just the professional one, as it were. There was another one for at home. So yeah, it's we're sorry if we made you think otherwise. You're fine. Trust us. And again, we're sorry if we triggered anyone out there. This is deep shit. And as we said before, there are ways that it can be talked about and addressed that it doesn't have to be sensationalized. So here, living example. So now we can use that as a launch board for another question. Let me catch up here. So yeah, we got really deep and serious there for a minute. So sorry. First part of the episode. Okay, so Maldwin's talking about make sure he gets a pedophile. Oh, lovely. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Maldwin, for that warning. We'll keep that in mind. Yeah, don't worry, Starry Girl. Purely optional. No. Yeah, you guys are fine. It's just such a hard thing to think about. You do. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, Rosa. So I don't discuss things he doesn't feel to discuss safe on live. Yeah, you know you didn't. And again, we're sorry. Clover. Yeah, the good girl boy thing is. Yeah, my little ones talk about that. I still don't get it. They got off on it. I can tell you. We can all tell you that firsthand. There's a reason that Susie frightens us, our newest little. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I have to step out for a bit. Be right back. Electric Castle. That's okay. Maybe it's good. I don't get it right now. Yeah, Clover. It's. You don't have to get it, and I hope you don't. Just boils down to there's every level of depravity out there, and there are people willing to do these things. Sorry. Let's find something else here. I think a trauma response is kicking in. I'm getting scared to speak what I'm thinking. Yes, that's exactly a trauma response. The conversation is triggering you, and your brain is looking to close that pattern, to close that loop. It's triggered the stress response cycle. So yeah, you're starting to freak out. Just calm down. Take some deep breaths. It's okay. You're safe now. You're among friends. It's okay. Yes. Listen to Roses, what she's telling you right now. Now is the time for her breathing deep and grounding. Yes. I got stuff. Will be okay. Thank you all. Yeah, not at all, Starry. Anytime here. And yeah, this is the stuff it's tough to talk about. It's tough to talk about, but it also needs to be talked about, because who the hell else are we going to talk about it to? Everybody just kind of tiptoes around the trauma, and because number one, it's a natural reaction. Number two, it's we don't want to think about these things. Ugh, no, that didn't happen. Yeah, it did. No, it didn't. Yeah, it did. No, it didn't. Yes, it did. Yeah, but and this actually goes back to the Joe Benny's question about how did our letting our family or our children know about our diagnosis. You've been trapped in this dark place for so long that you want to share it with somebody. You just want them to listen. You want it to hear. You want them to validate you. You don't want them to make it right. You just want somebody to go, oh my God, that's terrible. Let me give you a hug. That's all that's required. We talk about this in part 3 of Trauma Doesn't Lie. I Believe You. The validation, it's an important way to get it. And unfortunately, sometimes the only way to validate ourselves is by digging into this crap. Because we can do it back and forth and understand each other and like how to calm each other and whatnot. Everybody telling you that, no, we're not angry with you. It's a safe environment-ish. Now, again, disclaimer, we're not professionals. We're not holding a therapy session. This is just one system talking to everybody else out there in YouTube land. But we can help each other. And that's the whole point. Last thing, you're not alone. So, yeah, absolutely, you've got a trauma response kicking in. You're probably not the only one. Our heart is going as well. Because as we're repeating this list, it was drilled into us. Brutally drilled into us. You know, so as I'm telling you guys this, we are still that little boy. Standing there. Head down. We'll stop. Okay, but yeah. You're having a trauma response. Yes, so are we. Sorry. Yes, deep breathing and grounding. I'll be okay, thank you. Yes, grab your grounding box if you don't have one already. Yes, probably should have grabbed ours. Sky, thank you for sharing. It's okay. That's what we do. It's gut-wrenching. It's ugly at times. We try really hard not to overwhelm you, but yeah, we're straight up. But you're welcome. I swear denial is embedded in their family. Starry Girl said, yeah. And it doesn't even have to be malicious. Like, people don't want to talk about this. People don't want to think about this. They don't want to think about what causes this. That happens to other people. Yeah, right. It's part of the environment. It's part of the abusive environment and that cycle of control. Okay, GDI Chris, I did not need tiny I'm singing loudly in your head. Thanks. You're welcome. Oh Lord, we just dated ourselves terribly there. Let's see. Joe Benny says, "Do you want eventually for all of your amnesic walls to come down? Is that what your therapist meant, that they were out of their depths?" No, and in our case, it's not. It's probably not going to be possible for our amnesic walls to come down because our life is trauma. Was made out of trauma, starting before we could speak. We split. So There are some amnesic. I don't know. We don't know. The amygdala is in charge of all of that, and whether or not we're going to remember something. It's like we did not recall this latest flashback that we've been working through until it popped in on us at a really inopportune moment. Uh, these things can take over when it is dangerous to have a flashback. It's like Murphy's Law. Uh, but that amnesic barrier came down for that incident, for that moment. And it ties in with the chronology of other trauma. It's like another piece of the puzzle falling into its ugly place. Yeah. As far as our therapist, no, she had just basically reached the level of her ability as a professional to help us and needed to refer us to somebody who has more direct experience with DID and heavy CSA trauma and sexual trauma. So, yeah. Sorry, let's catch up here. Let's see. Joe Benny, in our case, don't think it's possible for them all to come down, but we don't know. And there's also the parts of us that don't want them to come down because there's so much ugly, and we hit a point, honestly, where the details of the trauma, it's okay, here's another trauma. Here's another time that we were raped. Except this time it was in X location with X number of people and X this and X that. It's still trauma. And it still has to be worked on. It's an ugly thing it's another ugly piece. And if the brain decides that we're going to work on another ugly piece, that's what we do, because we're not in control of it. One of the things that we learned very early was not to poke. Don't poke the hornet's nest. Because it's going to spew shit on you all of its own. You don't have to pick up that stick. You don't have to pick up that stick. It's gonna spew forth all on its own. Don't go digging. Don't go digging. Hopefully that answers your question. You asked some excellent questions, by the way. Thought provoking. Well done. Sorry, we're not being condescending. We're just admitting. Great questions. Let's see. Yes, that is a form of generational trauma. Understand that therapist is going to get an earful. Roses, that makes a lot of sense. We're laughing with you, obviously. Jocelyn Warnell, welcome. Haven't seen you around. Welcome to the stream. We're just chatting about just about everything. We just got done chatting about trauma and kind of got into a real heavy conversation there. We're kind of coming out of it, but we'll see. So trigger warnings, there might be here. Anyway, Jocelyn says, last time you went live, your therapist had just told you they couldn't help. Any luck on a new one? Not yet. We had to meet with our case manager for a whole yearly review. What are your goals? Blah, 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 blah. What services do you need? Basically, it's one of these where all they're really able to offer us is meds, because our condition outstrips the resources that they have. So we'll be looking at private practitioners. We've got a list of resources that we need to be calling on. This actually it's slated for this next week is when we're going to start calling around and doing the "Do you take my insurance" dance and going from there. So we'll keep you guys updated. But in the meantime, like we've been saying, we've had a flashback. We've been working through and dealing with that, and just using the tools that we learned over the years of therapy to, get through it. And so far, we're doing pretty good. I've had a couple touchy moments in the middle of the night, but you learn. You learn to stop yourself from circling that drain, metaphorically and physically. Yes, go back. Let's see. Sorry, I jumped a little bit. Sorry. So Jocelyn, hope that answers your question there. Electric castle system, my back. Sorry, got triggered and had to do some grounding. Sorry. Sorry, honestly. We apologize to anybody who got triggered out there. We warn you guys. Yeah. Anyway, apologies. Okay, got triggered back in the head. Question: do you have physical scars of trauma events, and if so, how do we deal with it? Yes. They're not in openly or commonly visible areas of the body, because as we were explaining just a few moments ago, we were a quote unquote precious one. We were not allowed to be hit or beaten or knocked about. Oh, it was okay for us to be tied up and all the other things, but don't hit the kid around the face. Actually, there's a bit of a grim laugh story. That it's part of it. The day that John broke, and went away for good. He was one of our daddies. Got angry with us when we were at the cocktail party on the roof, and hauled off and cracked us upside of the head. And Mimi apparently came out at that point, but the way that she described it was that the bouncer, the security, came over and grabbed this guy's head, and in Mimi's exact words, made him look like a volleyball against the pavement. And yeah, so there was that. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, we have some physical scars. How do we deal with it? At times it's a source of strength because it's a reminder of what we've endured. At times it's a source of absolute terror and fright, because when the body memories hit, and we get the body memories in a lot of the same places where we do have some scarring, and it is minimal. They were careful. But it's there. And it wasn't until we were diagnosed and the trauma started to come out that we suddenly figured out exactly what all these odd little scars on our ankles and certain parts of our forearms and wrists were, that we just couldn't remember how the hell we got. But there are times when it's an absolute terror, when we simply want to, we are still feeling it, and we just want to tear our flesh off to get rid of the feeling. We want to douse ourselves in bleach to wipe the feeling away, but you can't. You can't get rid of the feeling, and you feel it. And even just talking about it right now, and we're starting to feel those things again. So, yeah, Gil, we do. How do we deal with it? The same way that we deal with everything else, the DBD. The body memories are tough. That's where the sensory redirection comes in. The essential oils, things like that we've covered in the grounding box, because that reminds you that you are here now, and that sensation was then. You're still going to feel it. There's still the danger that you're going to get sucked back into that trauma, that flashback. But I think you see where we're going with this. So, okay, so let me catch up here. Okay, physical. I'm glad. Okay, the Star Girl saying, "I'm glad you took care of yourselves during this. This was heavier than I anticipated. It was heavier than we anticipated. Sorry, we." Normally we're all la la la, but now this one's kind of. I guess we're all needing this, so here we are. If it does get too heavy for you guys, feel free to bow out. Attendance is not required. Know your limits, system safety. But by the same token, we're getting some good stuff here, so don't be shy to ask either. Just know your limits, and it's good. So Let's see here. Have we anticipated electric castle? Yes. Thank you. Sorry, it's okay. It is stuff that needs to be talked about. Yeah, exactly. We're glad. Okay, so what type of Sky S wants to know what type of therapy has helped your system the most? You're having a hard time with EMDR. Actually, we were just discussing that not too long ago, earlier in the stream. We have not done EMDR because our therapist recognized that because of the way that it works and does not recommend it for DID or trauma patients or people on the dissociative disorder scale, OSDD systems, and particularly DID systems, because EMDR is basically geared more towards quitting smoking, things like that, overcoming small things like, say, a single, like if a neurotypical is in a car crash or something, which obviously will cause PTSD, and depending upon the circumstances, could cause CPTSD. They're going to have those issues that we have in common as well. But EMDR is more for that end of the spectrum rather than the heavy trauma. Because of the way that the process works, you're literally forcing yourself to recall the event, which in the case of the DID or OSD system would bring back the trauma, would stand a very excellent chance of sending you off into flashback land in a loop. So our therapist explained what the tool, what it did, how it did it, and we went, yeah, thanks. We'll pass on that. Thank you for making that informed decision on our behalf. Because she said that basically it's kind of the unvogue treatment right now among therapists and whatnot. So we made that choice not to do it, or she did, and we completely agreed. What type of therapy has helped us the most? Play therapy for the littles, and for the rest of us, the talk therapy helps some. Basically, most of our growth has come from, unfortunately, doing the trauma work and working with the littles, primarily Christopher. We were just beginning to get into Susie's trauma and some of Christopher's later trauma that led into Susie, and from there, the play therapy with the littles has been the most helpful. Um, Short answer. Okay, so we don't want to get too far behind here. Let's see here. So yeah, those are the ones. And you might want to talk, Sky, with your therapist about the EMDR, and you might want to address that issue. Okay, I'm going to have to plug in a battery pack to my phone, so give us a second. But yeah, you might want to discuss EMDR with your therapist and see if there are any other techniques if you're having a hard time with it. Hang on, let me grab a power pack real quick. Okay, need to switch to a power pack because the excuse me, phone's running out of juice. Wow, we are actually alone in the house. Everyone's gone. Wife and daughter are out doing a girls' thing. Both of the boys are at work. We're alone in the house. Oh my God. We don't know how to react to this. Oh well. Back to the live stream. Sorry. We don't get much time to ourselves. All right, so let's see. I hate these. We hate these. All right, here. Let's see here. So yes, we went over the EMDR. Sky, discuss that with your therapist. See if there are offsets. Remember, you are in charge of your therapy. Ultimately, if something's not working for you, ask for something else. Definitely. So don't be afraid to do that. Let's see here. Catching up. Kate. Hello, Kate. Good to see you. They're experiencing some heavy setbacks and it's causing many issues physically and mentally. We send many healing vibes your way. Lana. Oh, okay, thank you, Lana. Sorry, I didn't see the name there. We tend to refer to everyone according to whatever name they have YouTube, unless you sign differently. We try to be sensitive about that. So if you drop your name, we will use that until further being told. Uh, so, yes. Maldwin Harmony says, we wish that we could protect everyone here. Well, in a way we are. Isn't that what community is about? Sharing of knowledge, sharing of viewpoints, commonalities. Every ripple, every rock makes a ripple. All right, here. Let's see. Hey, it's 2021. You're home. You're safe. Yes, it's okay. We're not going to slip off into a full-fledged. We know our limits pretty damn well by this point. Most of the time. Clover says she has or they have scars as well, but don't remember what they're from. Other alters know what they're from. Martok specifically knows what one on our hand is. Yeah, if they know, and don't force any sharing. If it's best, there are things that are just best left alone. They'll get resolved in their own good time. Again, don't push it. Don't poke the hornet's nest. It's we know it's frustrating, and it's natural to want to search for proof, to search for those answers, to get every stinking last detail of every last incident, because it matters, except it doesn't in the end, because it's just trauma, and at the end of the day, you're still left with it. So yeah, don't push. We've ran afoul of this ourselves. So yes. Okay, Joe Benny, thank you so much for sharing so openly. Peace and power, Joe. Anytime, Joe Benny. That's what we're here about. We got nothing to lose, and so ask away. Great questions. Seriously, don't know if you wrote them down beforehand or not, or just have a really inquiring mind. But those are some great questions. Feel free to chime in, join the stream at any point in time. You're always welcome here. So thank you. Let's see here. Electrocasual system, they have scars as well and don't know how to deal with it because it's so triggering. And yes, I still feel at times how it happened. It's rough. It's one of these things where unfortunately we have to accept it. You have to accept it, because if you ignore it, it's just going to get worse and force you to deal with it. So it's better to try to come to terms with it. And I know for us, it's a constant thing of, oh God, here they come again. We want to scrape our skin off. We have to stop ourselves and go, okay, go grab the box, grab the orange oil. We are here now. If it gets really bad and we get caught in that loop, we will, and this is not a positive behavior, okay, but this is an example, and I know others have done this. We will bite ourselves to recenter. That sharp pain is able to detract from the memory sensation and refocus us. Now, this is not healthy, and we do not do this except when we're under extreme duress, because that exact logic, that exact thing where this pain will cover it up, that is what leads to cutting and self-harm. Okay, that tricky little thought process right there can lead you down a nasty rabbit hole, which is why we try so hard not to do it. Now, in our case, this was also a trauma reaction, because there were times when we were required to be silent when they didn't want us to make any noise. And so we would, in a response, more than one layer there, but that's why. So it's something to be aware of, but it's a trap. It's a trap. So watch yourself. Watch yourself closely on that. But yeah, mood, Electric Castle, mood. You're just going to have to accept it. Every time it crops up, just try to divert. Try to divert. Music, go take a walk, something. Whatever it is that might distract you from it. Okay, so I know that we're just repeating, but it bears repeating. So, okay, twin stars. Sometimes, hello, twin stars. Sometimes I wish we had more scars. It feels like they should be there, and they aren't. Mood. We're there. Yeah, we're there. As a victim of abuse, we've always kind of thought it's not fair, and this is going to sound really fucked. Okay, we're just going to warn you ahead of the time. People who are physically abused, at least they've got the bruises. There's something that can, for all the world to see, there's a physical mark. Emotional abuse doesn't leave that mark physically for everybody to, oh, there's a huge bruise in the middle of his head. You know, his dad must have been yelling at him for the better part of 3 hours last night and shoving him against the wall. Wow, what happened to you, man? There's no mark there. So I don't want to call it envy of those whose abuse leaves marks, but it's. I know this sounds whack, but yeah, we get you, twin stars. We understand that thought. Yeah, because there's so much that we suffer in silence. But again, loved, strong, not alone. I know we keep saying it, but we mean it. Okay. So yeah, twin stars, sorry. Very cathartic stream today. Good going, guys. Clover says, I think for me it's not triggering because I don't know where they're from, but I'm sure if I knew it would be triggering. Doctors keep asking me if I was burnt with a cigarette on my stomach. Like I don't know. Like I don't know, she's saying. Yeah. Got one of those on our hand right here, actually. Nice little cigarette burn. Don't know where it came from. Actually, we have a good idea of where we think it came from. But, yeah, memory's a little hazy around that time. So, yeah. That's part of the youngin' you're just going to have to peel back when it's time. Okay, so Lisa, hello Lisa, get so angry about the abusers. It seems like they have light sentences and that justice is slim. I wonder if some judges are abusers the way they seem to take abuse lightly. Yeah. We've seen that from the inside. Absolute power corrupts. Funny that. Yeah. I'm not saying that they all are, but yeah. Many of the you'd be surprised who attended those types of parties. Or maybe you wouldn't be surprised. And for sake, no, none of them were Democratic senators or leaders, and it didn't take place at the bottom of a pizza parlor, and nobody was cannibalized, for sake. If you're going to be a crusader for abuse, at least get the facts straight. Sorry, excuse me. Anger issues. Yeah, Lisa, it's tilted. It's tilted. Because how do we prove it? It's easy for us to sit here and say, oh, we were raped when we were 7 by our stepfather and his brother. How do we prove it? So yeah, it's not taken seriously. So yes. Hope System. Hello, welcome, Victoria. Sorry, I had to switch the brain. Play therapy is so helpful. Boy, I am behind here. Goodness. Yes, true, Clover. It's tough for us to let go and let the littles do that. We try to every week, but it's tough because frankly we're still weirded out, and we're kind of shy to let Susie front because she terrifies us. She holds all this trauma, but she's all sunshine and rainbows and strawberries and things, and yeah. Um, Plus, this has led to her and Christopher confronting to play together, which still makes our head hurt to think about it, even though it's already happened. Every time we think that we've got this sorted out, DID throws us another curveball to deal with. So, yeah. Let's see. So, Rose is saying one alt in particular keeps a memory of a lot of trauma and got distracted enough by lack of physical and resorted to self-harm, which you do not recommend. Yeah. Done that, but I'm getting better. Frustrated. Okay, Starry Girl saying bites their thumbs when distressed, trying to stop it. It's hard. Yeah, there's something about it that it's a focus. It's a focus. And the wife and therapist are screaming, no, don't bite yourself. And it's like, you don't understand how overwhelming that urge is. Yeah. Electrica, yes, I know the rabbit hole of self-harm. Yeah, and it's so easy to slip into. So easy to slip into. Yeah. Just a mom, hello. Sorry so late. Dental emergency. Ooh, sorry. We hate dental stuff. Yeah, just a mom. Warning, it's gotten heavy. Yeah, this is probably the heaviest stream that we've had. So yeah, trigger warning. Let's see. So let's see. Police too. In my case, there are police. Yeah. I get shy too, but the little ones love talking through their traumas with play therapy. Clover saying police involved. That's just appalling. Yeah, Lisa. Yeah. Just because they have a badge doesn't mean that they're immune to being predators. In fact, it makes it easier for them to cover up. So yeah, law enforcement knows. They know. They know. On the actual, the reality of it, it's a matter of resources and it's a matter of reporting. And when it is reported, the resources to deal with it and the trained personnel to deal with it. This is why we need crisis response units in working side by side with badged officers on the streets, so that they can differentiate between, a DID system switching out and a protector, suddenly dealing with that, and then, versus some psychotic dude with a gun who really does need that force. Yeah. Sorry. So yeah, police. They know. They know there are good people in there who are doing to protect and serve, but there's a lot of things overlooked. That's all we're going to say. Yeah. 5 pieces of 9. Hello, 5. Good to see you. We're going to assume Cloud. Yes, Cloud. Okay, we're literally reading it. Know all about curveballs. Holy crap, Cloud is here. Hello, Cloud. Violet System. Hello. Haven't been there in a while. Their little is so cheerful. Okay, Twin Stars is saying, their little is so cheerful despite being a pain holder. I'm so confused because I just ended up angry and scared, and they're adorable. Laugh my ass off. Yeah, that's Susie in a nutshell. She's all sunshine and rainbows and trauma. Yeah, we can't. Again, this is how the brain works, but just yeah. Let's see, Chloe. Yes, it's actually scary because they were involved at a church. church I went to, and I don't know how they're involved, just that they definitely are. Memories will come when they come. I have a hypothesis. Starry Girl is saying she has a hypothesis. They have a hypothesis, but don't want to make any assumptions. Same with some of my littles too. You're not alone. No. Yeah, and we're not going to get into the whole ritual abuse debate and things. We've already said, no matter what you remember happening or you believe happening to you, we believe you. We're willing to give you more the benefit of the doubt in that validation, because of the crap that happened to us is unbelievable. Except trauma doesn't lie. So yeah. There's clergy involved. We, yeah, that's all we're gonna say. I don't want to go there. That's connected to a set of memories that I'd really rather not explore. Let's just say that there's a lot of things done in the name of God that have nothing to do with God. So, on to something a little brighter here. Joe Benny with another great question. How did/do your alters/parts get their names? We kind of cover this in our episode, Who in the Hell Are You People? Alters and all of it. No, I'm sorry. It was in our intro video. You're telling me we have what? Yeah, we kind of briefly go into that. Most of our ANPs are, their names are what they do. I mean, obviously there's me. We all identify as Chris to a greater or lesser degree. The ANPs, mind you. Myself, Data, Bootstraps, Rosemary. It's those were basically the names that were there for most of our lives, and it was just more a definition of what that alter's function or role is. I'm the core, nominally, host, the man in the middle who's trying like hell to keep the chaos inside, at least in an orderly fashion. We compared it once to being the negotiator at a Federation, a peace conference where you've got the Cardassians and the Klingons and the Romulans and the Bajorans and everybody else at the table, and it's trying to get them all to cooperate and agree on anything. That's me. So, just there's me because I identify as me. More or less. Data is just what he does. He's constantly taking in everything around us, possible dangers, this, that, the other thing. This person is 6 feet that way. They're wearing, a green shirt, blue jeans that are torn on the right knee. They're wearing Vans sneakers that are probably about 2 years old, judging by the wear pattern on the back of the heel. I mean, it's like if you've ever seen Richard Downey Jr. Play Sherlock Holmes in that one movie where his brain is just through all the possibilities in the calculus. That's Data. That's all the time. But that's how he has kept us, more or less out of danger when he could. Obviously there's limits. Can't overcome someone 6 times your size. But a lot of people think, Star Trek for him, but it's just more the raw data. It's what he does. Analysis. Rosemary chose her name. Nigel and Percival chose theirs. Bootstraps got his just simply because it's what he does. He takes care of the shit that just needs to get done. The toilet is plugged up. Well, it's got to get done. Got to get fixed. Things of that nature. That's his purview. Also makes him really pissy because it never occurred to us. He's a bit of a dick for a couple of reasons. Number one is because that's what he does. He's there. He's focused on the job. He's there to do it, and anything and anyone else, unless they're helping, is just an impediment to that. And he doesn't have time to waste on niceties. So if you're not going to help, just get the hell out of the way and let me do what I'm here to do so I can go. Well, the thing is that it never occurred to us until he apparently told our wife one night when we were dealing with a crisis, which is directly connected to the one that we keep alluding to, but we're not really going to talk about. We were driving. Yeah, apparently, they were driving in the car because a couple of days later, she's like, "Bootstraps wants time out to himself to watch a movie or something," and we're like, "What?" it just never occurred to us that he would actually want time out. So he's a description of his name. The rest of us, our littles, they are my name, our name that we were at the time, with certain liberties taken for privacy. But no, and Christopher, that was our name then, and then Christopher D, that was our name. Susie came in between. That's just her name. That's what she told us. Susie. Generally, the names actually appear about a day before. Well, first we'll get the hallucinations. They'll intensify, and we'll start seeing figures, male or female, and they'll drive us nuts for a day or two, and until we tell them it's like, look, just you're not real, go away, or if you're in another altar, just come out, manifest already. And then we'll get the name, and then are generally poof, or there will be a circumstance that will bring them out, and then just all of a sudden they're there in the headspace. Susie showed up after one of our last trauma sessions with Christopher because there was a gap between Christopher and Christopher D. And it turns out that's where Susie came into things. So, yeah. So to get to answer your question, Joe Benny, some are a description of what our role is, and some are they just pick themselves. It just kind of comes naturally. Sorry, it's. I wish it was more interesting than it was. Anyway, so let's see here. Becky's like sunshine and rainbows, and 5 Pieces of 9 is saying Becky was like that, sunshine and rainbows, and then she remembered the trauma, and we think she either created an altar in her system or created an altar for herself. Polysystem? Yeah, we're polyfragmented. Christopher D split into, or was split forcibly, i.e. the script. It's a good thing that you weren't here earlier, 5 or Cloud, because you would have had to have checked out. We've gotten pretty heavy today. But yeah, Susie is aware of the trauma, but it doesn't get her down. She's proud of it, which makes it all the creepier because she's like, sorry for anybody who might get triggered by this, but this is the best way to illustrate it. She's all, that's what good girls do for their daddies. I'm making daddy happy. That's just so wrong on so many levels, and the real chilling thing is that she believes it. And yeah, so that's so Clover saying they already had names, at least in their system. They just tell me them when they're ready. Yeah, pretty much kind of the same way for us. Except for driving us nuts, for days before. Joe Benny, are still the names. Exactly. Okay, funny thing. I hate most of their names and would never choose them myself, Clover says. Yeah, it's just kind of random. Roses, all of our system came with their names already attached. Yeah. Just a Mom says, how does it feel when you discover a new altar? Is it ever frightening? Yeah. What we were just literally describing with Susie. Yeah, right there, basically, because Susie, there was a piece of whenever she would front. Well, we thought it was Christopher drawing, but because our therapist would have him do art therapy and whatnot, and draw things. And he started drawing this goofy-looking puppy dog with a huge nose and big droopy ears and everything over and over and over again. And it wasn't until Susie fully fronted that we, in therapy, actually, was when she made her appearance. Just we'd been getting the hallucinations, and we were seeing a little girl in a white dress for 2 days before she would appear and giggle and then disappear again. Very frustrating and frightening. And she came out in our therapy session and was just the amount of trauma that she's describing, and she's describing these it was horrible, and she's describing it like a child would talk about their favorite toy or their coloring book or something, and it was just we're still scared of her. We're afraid to let her front because she hasn't done this, so the fear appears to be unfounded, because she's been fully fronted to play co-con with Christopher at least once and didn't have any problems, and interacted with our wife apparently, and was the sweet little girl apparently, but she frightens the rest of us, and we're afraid that she might get stuck or simply not be willing to relinquish the front at all, because she's very forceful / pushy in that way that little girls that are 5 or 6 have. No offense, ladies, just they're just kind of very headstrong, and this is the way it's going to be. It's an admirable and very cute thing at that age that turns into an admirable quality later on. But that's kind of like what she is, and so she's upsetting. Oops, we disconnected. Now we just reconnected. Is there a time limit to the streams then, or something? Okay, I don't know. We just had a blink, so for whatever reason. Anyway, okay, let's see here. So, just a mom. Hopefully that answers your question a little bit. Yeah, it's frightening. It's terribly frightening, particularly with the littles. Okay, I hate to say it's almost always frightening because it indicates there's something unearthing itself that you have to deal with now. Yeah, that's the excellent way of putting it. On a success to share, yes, let's have some of those too. Clover, we became more open with our therapist about some of the traumas finally, 5 years into therapy. Good. Proud. Excellent. Way to go. Good news is always good. Good news is good. Yes, congratulations, Clover. It's very frightening for me personally to discover a new one. I'm polyfragmented, though, so they seem to come every so often. Yeah, we didn't realize we were polyfragmented until John. It got really messy there for a while. Very convoluted. Twin Stars wants to say, do we ever feel useless? Like I was a persecutor, and a lot of my growth is involved learning to delegate, sort of, and it's been nice, but it also makes me feel like a passive vehicle of bad. Laugh out loud. Yeah, we do get that from time to time. We were just talking about Bootstraps. He deals with all of the the unpleasant jobs, the shit that has to be done in the outside world, and like we were just saying, he would do his thing, and then he would go away and back to inside. And it never occurred to us that he may want time out. And so, as it turns out, he was getting quite angry. This was a good portion that we found out was of the reason that he was angry and so bitter was because he was being called on to do all the heavy lifting and for none of the rewards. He was only being called on to do the shit that nobody else wanted to do because that's what he's good at. And he felt that the rest of us just basically treated him as no more than a non-entity. And we, as hard as that is to hear, we have to mea culpa that because it never occurred to us. Admittedly, he'd never made those wishes apparent to us, so I think it was kind of a mutual realization. But that would be a close example because, and since we started working with him on that, and actually, because he used to do a lot of the shopping or to and from, which explains why we've nearly gotten into fights outside of the Walmart parking lot and inside of the Walmart store before. Nigel actually made a deal with him that he would ride Kokon with Bootstraps whenever he was doing anything, just so that, Boots could have somebody to pitch to or to help him out. And since they've made that agreement, which came out of nowhere for me slash us, they just spontaneously decided to do this. Boots is much calmer now, or at least he doesn't uh, get screwed up so easily, as in tense so easily. So, yeah, have felt useless, and it's just, I guess, just make the needs of tell the rest of the system. This is so murky. I hope that I'm making any sense, that we're making any sense to you. Because it blindsided us. We didn't know he wanted out. And when he does come out, what does he do? He wants to watch Rambo and Rambo 2 with our wife. It's like, what the hell, man? Not exactly our forte, but it's apparently his. But he enjoyed himself, and apparently, wife said that they, had a good date. Whatever. Yeah. So there. So yes, yes, we do, Twin Stars. Congrats on Clovers, yes. Also, Violet Twin Stars, roving, persecuted, protector. He feels that all the time. Yeah, lots of other systems backing up. Yeah, absolutely. So it seems like it's something that we all go through. One of mine, Angry, he has the name of my first abuser, and I don't speak that name, so I gave him a nickname. Yeah, we know about that name thing. There's a reason why we say egg donor. Because the actual name just makes us want to vomit and literally brings the taste of bile into our mouth. So, yeah, we get that. Clover, we get that. He is, also wants time out. He's also considered a persecutor. He wants time out. Yeah, unfortunately, you just have to trust. Trust that they're not going to do anything stupid. And that can be really insulting to them. The fact that you're worried about that. And yeah, we're not going to get into Jack. We went to every place else today, but we are not going to get into Jack. Let's just say that we have some personal experience there, other than Bootstraps. Not sure how to let him out. He likes boxing, apparently. Like what? Yeah, exactly. Go figure. Just roll with it. Rosa said we've got something similar going on in our system, and we're currently working through some weirdness with that as well, participating or observing. For the boxing, yeah. Because if it's participating, that's an easy solution. I want you to hit me as hard as you can. Yeah, no, it's not into that. But we do understand the that whole premise under Fight Club. Sometimes, oh dear God, if there was something like that, Bootstraps probably would have taken place. Because sometimes the urge to just, it's not healthy, but let's just admit it, anger is a powerful emotion. And as our therapist said, anger is an action emotion. So when you're trying to suppress your anger, you're actually working against it and intensifying it. So she said the best thing to do is to find an activity to divert it into, not to tone it down, but rather to find another way to express it. She suggested, we've got a lot of old pallets, shipping pallets in our backyard, and she's like, well, grab the sledgehammer and go whale the shit out of them. It takes that anger and channels it into something not self-harmy, which is where it'll go if you're trying to deny it. And sure enough, it works. Just wear gloves and watch out for splinters. So yeah, boxing, yeah, I can understand that. Participating, and he likes activity like sword fighting related to our trauma for sure. Now we're curious, but that's cool. Makes sense. He says he's angry, only coming out for trauma. He wants to do his hobbies. He's used to living, I guess, and I keep trying to suppress him. Yeah, it sounds like you need to schedule, sit down and talk with each other and work out a schedule. Try to give him some leeway. A lot of times, I know it's like with Bootstraps, he just wanted to be heard. He didn't want to be treated like a second-class citizen anymore, and it's once we realized that, had that wool pulled off our eyes, it's things have been a lot easier. And truthfully, most of them don't want to stick around and take over the front for very long anyway. At least not ours. Our persecutors, for the most part, are fairly content to live in the headspace in their area, because that's where they're the most comfortable. I don't know. So it's almost like, they want the freedom, but then you give it to them, and they're not sure what the hell to do with it. So they'll do their thing, and then it's kind of like, well, what do I do now? What do we do now? I'm not used to having this, and then they'll retreat, which is what happens with us, and we have to go, okay, well, if are you sure that's all you wanted to do? You good? And it's like, I'm good. It's like, so I don't know if anybody else experiences that, but that's our input on it. Started messing around with a dartboard in our garage to help with anger. It's nice, Violet says. We were never any good at darts. We just sucked at sports, period. Of course, that was because we didn't get these until we were in high school. Thanks, egg donor. Something as simple as going to the sports shop and finding a punching bag can be a great way to get your more troublesome participants to calm down. Yeah, exactly. The 5 is saying, oh my god, yeah, the freedom thing is so true in our system. Lisa, yeah, Percival wanted to leave by the end last night. Hope we didn't put him through too much. I don't know. I honestly, it's like with Mimi, when he leaves the front, it drains away the memories of what we just did drain away, for me as Data and I come back to the front. Even if we had it's there will be a very brief period of time where the memories are there, but then it's almost like we used the phrase last night to Rose's when we were chatting, memory grains, because that's what it feels like. It feels like there are these gray grains of memories, and they're slipping through your fingers. It's there for an instant, but they start trickling out, and all the memories, unless the alter deliberately wants us to remember them. But this happens with Mimi. It happens with all of us, truthfully, except for the littles who just continually push because they don't know it any better. Yeah, so there's that. So yeah, I guess if he left when he did, he was ready to go. He's never fronted for that long, I don't think. So yay him and yay you guys. I hope it was a good conversation. Or we hope it was a good conversation. Sorry. For those of you who are new to the channel, we kind of use the terms I and we interchangeably. When we say I, it's more directly referring to the alter who is currently fronting. We all kind of use it, but most of the time we use we to refer to us all, but we slip all over the place. So that's kind of where we're at on it. So sorry if we're a little confusing on that. Seems like the conventions behind all of this anyway are kind of in flux on a daily basis anyway. So we do our best. Okay, so okay, yeah, mine came out briefly and then retreat. Like they tend to stick around for their activities, then leave. Yeah, and I think it's because they've just never been afforded that luxury to do what they want to do. It's like, oh my God, I want freedom. I want freedom. Here you go. What do I do? Yeah. It's we get so ingrained into the sectioning off. Okay, let's see here. Twin Stars is saying, from my experiences as a persecutor who hangs around with other persecutors, it really helps us to feel that we have things that are just our own. Yeah. Straight there from the persecutor's mouth, or fingers, as the case may be. Yeah, exactly. They just want to be treated like people, like the rest of the alters. Because whether we are trauma holders directly or ANPs, the ANP is not holding the trauma, we are still all affected by it. And we are all each valid parts of the system, no matter what our roles are or may have been. And if you want to be active, that's great. If you want to Netflix and chill for your entire existence in the headspace, that's cool too. At least that's kind of the tack we've tried to take. But yeah, thank you, Persecutor from the Twin Stars, for speaking directly. Clover Aioli, that happens to me too. The drain away is so confusing. Yeah, she's talking about the memory grains. Just a mom. So that so explains 1 minute she has a memory and the next minute she has a slight idea and then it's gone. Yes, that is exactly what's happening. Is the switch? It's there for an instant, and it's like if you don't think about it, you can hold it for a split second longer. But the minute that you try to focus on something, it just slips right through, and you can't get it back unless the altar wants you to. We're still a little nebulous on how exactly that all works. Let's see. I really enjoy. Okay, Lisa's talking. Oh, I really enjoyed chatting with him. He told me my favorite author sucks, and I adored him from then on. Oh dear. I hope. I hope he behaved himself. He's a bit of a priss when it comes to literature, a snob. We'll own it. So hopefully he wasn't too insulting, but he has some strong opinions, and he's not afraid to. But thank you, I like that. Adored him from then on. Thank you, Lisa. Sorry. Let's see, 5 pieces. And I have had memories of the whole day, no bad ones. And then, like at 7 p.m., Ilian just steals them, and I'm like, what the fuck? Because now I remember nothing about the day. Yeah, sort of like forgetting a dream. Joe Benny is saying, yeah, except with. Well, yeah, that's actually a good parallel for a neurotypical. Systems. Trauma victims often have very intense dreams and very vivid dreams. That's not uncommon. But yeah, that would be a good way to put it for a neurotypical would be when you wake up after an intense dream or something, and you're like, oh my god, I was just kissing Valentino by a crystal blue Italian stream, and now I'm awake, and now I can't remember it. Who was I with? Where was I with? Uh, we'll see if anybody actually catches that reference that we just threw in there. But yeah, exactly. Let's see. So not seeming fair, though it may be for protection. Um, yeah, Cloud. We haven't experienced that so much, or at least not that we're aware of. Um, but that's actually what's cool about this, and why we do these streams is because each system has their own unique perspective and way to look at things. So. What we may not have experienced, somebody else out there might go, oh yeah, that's that. Thank you so much. So, yeah, 5 pieces of 9. We did catch the reference. Okay. Thank you. I'm glad somebody out there did. Um, oh, what time have we got here? Oh, no wonder we're starting to feel a little lightheaded. Because, as usual, we've been bad people and have forgotten to eat within the past couple hours or so. And seeing that the ladies are out of the house, that means that they're going to be eating out, which means we'll be left to fend for ourselves. So if we want to be a good system, and examples for you all. Sorry. Then I suppose that we should eat anything. So eat something. Not anything. Lord, getting ourselves to agree on what we want to eat is a pain in the ass sometimes. We will go ahead and take a few more questions if you guys have anything that stands out. Joe Bunny, was it? Joe Bunny? Clever person who has been asking all kinds of great questions tonight. If you have any others that you want to hit us with before we go, now would be, yes, Joe Benny. Okay, not Bunny, Benny. The Joe Benny. Hit us with that here. Well, you still got time. Fish, laugh out. No, stop trying to bring out Nigel, damn it. He's the only one of us that likes fish. I mean, when I say fish, I mean fish. We like shellfish and clams and crabs and things, but fish? No, actually it's tied to a trauma memory. Yeah, but anyway, he apparently doesn't have that problem. But yeah, fish is his thing, so which makes the wife and all them happy because all these years we haven't cooked any fish, and they love fish. They're from a coastal area, and so once Nigel came out and took over fish cooking duties, the amount of fish in their diet has increased. And actually, Nigel is a bit of a prankster, and he the jerk. I say this lovingly. He was just finishing the last bite of fish when he switched out and left me chewing the last 2 bites, already stuffed in my mouth and going. It's like so. We owe him one for that. But he does have a devilish sense of humor. I'll give him that. If and when he finally does decide to make an appearance, we'll see. We're not holding him back or anything, but who knows? But yeah, no, I don't. I think we'll pass on the fish tonight. I'm still here, Starry. I wanted to thank you all during that heavy moment. I'm glad you're all here. Thank you. Again, we apologize if we triggered you out, but we're also happy that everyone here was able to help ground and recenter you, and us as well. And this is, like we said on our repeatedly, we deal with the heavy stuff. This is one of the reasons we started the channel, but it can be done in a supportive environment. So thank you for being a part of that. And we hope to see you around the channel some more, for sure. We're always happy when you show up, mostly on the streams, but I think a lot of you guys just kind of lurk and don't really comment, but that's cool. Let's see, Sam. Am I near the Pacific Northwest? As I am. We are west of the Mississippi. Sorry, safety. We trust, you guys, but these go onto the internet. And as we saw earlier with Mr. Press Alt F4, there's always trolls and people who make it their stupid hobbies to, we have nothing to hide. It's like, go ahead. Please, knock yourselves out because, like I said, we worked law enforcement and we've been on the internet a long ass time. And so we've been very careful about what we do. But we are Western U.S., yes. West of the Mississippi, that's what we'll say. So, yeah, I so get that. Yeah, so, yes, but, salmon. Yeah, we have trouble with that particular fish. That's the fish that's related to the trauma memory. Our abuser forced us to kill and gut a spawning salmon that was full of roe, and he was big into murdering animals in front of us. Anyway, so no salmon. Thank you very much. You guys can keep your salmon in locks. So I'm near Seattle. I love seafood. So all right, guys, we are going to go ahead, and it's about 5:30. We're going to go ahead and close it down. Thank you guys for joining us. I think this has been about the most intense stream we have had yet. So thank you guys for being so open and sharing and talking about all these things as well with us. It makes us feel not so much alone, as well as you guys as well. So we'll sign off with our catchphrase. Everybody say it together. You are loved. You are strong. And you're not alone. Okay? Remember that, guys. Thank you very much for all your support, for showing up on the live streams. You guys are great. Okay? We'll talk to you next time. Have a great day, everyone, and self-care. Be sure to drink water because we're all chronically dehydrated. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.